Hello. Hello, folks. I am Dr. Tammy K. Brazil. I am here for the Canna We Talk. This is a information and education seminar conference, a public awareness event to teach the public all about cannabis, how it's made, how we do it, how we use it for medicine, how it's real medicine, how it helps patients, how it goes and it stops seizures in children that are having 1,000 seizures a day. I don't know what that would be like, do you? I didn't even think there was 1,000 minutes in a day. But 1,000 seizures a day, and they are a child. They may be your child. Okay? A lot of us have people in our family, and they're very ill as well. They need medicine. Unfortunately, the medicines we take now really mess us up. They mess up our liver, our kidneys. They make us so we don't think. We can't see later. We get all kinds of diseases from taking the medicine. And as soon as you start that nice little train of taking that one pill, that one nice little happy pill, well, then you're going to go back and it made something else wrong. And they're going to give you another one. Then they're going to give you another one. Well, then the next thing you hear is, oh, you're an automobile. We're going to start removing your pieces. I don't know. Every time I move something on my truck, that sucker won't run. So I don't think how you're going to replace your body and everything out by taking pieces out of it. I think the God, or whatever you believe in, He put all those pieces in us for a reason. He also put in us another thing, the endocannabinoid system. Okay? Yes. Okay, and He did that because He put this wonderful plant on this earth called cannabis. And we know that that's the fact that the world started like that because it's in jellyfish. Jellyfish since the beginning of time when they were put in fossils. So we know it existed then. And there was a reason for us to have it. And it grew all over the place and we would eat it and everything else and it would feed our bodies. Then we became of a government style, of course, that took that stuff that fed our bodies really good, and they took it away. And they decided to give us what I was talking about before, those wonderful little happy pills. That doesn't make us so happy. So what we need to do is go back and forget it all, and go back to natural ways of living and having a more natural lifestyle, and which is this plant. It is a simple plant. I don't understand why our government is so afraid of a thing that starts out this big. For the most part, gets about as tall as I am. Well, none of you guys are afraid of me unless I'm really stomping. And it's just a plant. So what we've done today is I have gathered the best minds I could find. Believe me, these guys are smart. Okay, we have Clint Werner. He just got an award for Senate for his work on marijuana. Yeah. That's pretty big. Yes, he's been doing this work for 25 years. So if you want to pin somebody down and ask him some questions, there's your guy. We also have several doctors here. We'll have Dennis Perron. Now, yes. So those of you who do not know who that man is, he wrote 215. He is why, he's why all this happened. He's how we got our rights. Okay, the other day, Tuesday, I was in this room, okay, with a bunch of you were there with me, and we got splat to the Twilight Zone. Okay, we went back to 1995, the year before 215. Prop 215 came about because all of a sudden now we can't do it anymore, okay? So our job is, as you go around in this world, is to educate other people. Quit trying to hide your little thing and I don't do it. No, spread the word. It's good stuff. It's going to help you. You know what? You're not sleeping. Hey, smoke. Maybe you should smoke a little bit of this. Or maybe you need an edible. You don't need those bottles of pills to go to sleep. So what we're going to do now is, I didn't write a speech, obviously. I just ran it. This is my birthday party, by the way, guys. This is where I gave myself a birthday party. I decided to educate you guys the best I could. All right, with the best people I can get my hands on. And I was put this together with the godmothers of light and healing. We're a little cliquey, bunch of old ladies who get a lot, and between us all, we put this together for you. So I give a lot of thanks to the godmothers of light and healing, of course, to my staff, to my friends, Miss Zoe, Janir. Miss Zoe, stand up. Hey, that's one of my godmothers of light and healing. Okay, one of my other ones is Rocky. Where are you, Rocky? She wants to hide. There she is. It's one of the other godmothers. Okay, and what we try to do here is us being the godmothers, there's a few of us, the godmothers try to watch over you guys. And when you guys need medicine and we got things, we make sure you guys get it. Okay, we make sure we find it. You're dying of something else, we'll find something to make it. We'll get it together. And you guys need to learn how to do that. And you guys need to learn how to share. Okay? Share. We aren't getting anywhere because we got to keep this all to ourselves. Well, you know what? That's how R.J. Reynolds is going to take over, honey. Because you have it all to yourself. Right? We need to band together and teach everybody and be our own little thing of where we all work together. You know, the heck, don't be stingy anymore. We need to share. The angels say share. Okay? Amen. Yes, I count the green, no doubt. Okay, so how we're going to do the day is several people will be around. I have so many people that we have to stagger between these two stages, and you're going to have to decide where you want to be. Some of our doctors and people like from the Phoenix Shoes program will be here, and they will be available by Skype. They will be talking to us. They're just very, very far away. And then we have other doctor people who had to be at work at the hospital today, and they will take a break and they will talk to us. Right? But these are top. Like Donald Abrams, who is my mega hero. Okay, that man's amazing. UC San Francisco, chief of oncology hematology. And I hope all these people who take away the cannabis don't get cancer and have to go to him, huh? That won't look too good. So we're going to begin the show. Clint Warner is going to be our master of ceremonies, of course. Where are you, Clint? There he is. There's our Clint. Here's our master of ceremonies. And I guess he's going to take us over to that stage over there. Is that correct? Or do you want to come right here and be with me? You can come over here and chat. Take it over. Yes, and so this is Clint Warner. He is, he wrote, he's got so many things on him, he is just amazing. Marijuana Gateway to Health, How Cannabis Protects Us from Cancer and Alzheimer's Disease. Some of us better pay attention. Here we go.
Thank you, Dr. Tammy, and happy birthday. Thank you so much for asking me up here. I'm really honored to be here. And thank you all for coming out. And I also want to thank the Elks Lodge for allowing us to gather here and do this, because not all organizations are open-minded enough to understand that the American way is freedom and discussion. And that's what we do in this country. We don't have to have our facts approved by a government agency. We can get them out there and talk about them. So thanks very much to the Elks Lodge. And I also want to say that some of my earliest memories are going to the Elks Lodge with my grandfather, who was an Elks member, and sitting there with him, and he'd let me taste a little beer at the bar now and then, and I think I turned out all right despite that. But this is kind of just a nice thing to come back to, and I really do appreciate you allowing us to be here. So we're here, and we really are the cutting edge of what is proving to be a revolutionary movement in medicine. This is really something that's going far beyond what I ever imagined when I first started doing this for justice. Because we didn't know about the endocannabinoid system really back in 1996 when we passed 215, and back in 1991 when I was a caregiver for my best friend who was dying of AIDS, and I saw that marijuana kept weight on him and kept his mood up and helped him live longer. So back then we knew it worked, but we didn't know why. And in the meantime, we've had this discovery of this incredible body of science And what it tells us is that in our bodies, we have what's called an endocannabinoid receptor system. And this is expressed really through a significant part of our bodies, significantly in our central nervous system and in our peripheral nervous system, but also in immune cells and certain organ tissue. And the job of this endocannabinoid system, which is regulated by molecules we make in our bodies called endocannabinoids, the job of this system is to prevent disease environments from getting a hold in us, to interrupt any disease processes that might get a hold of us, and to trigger our intrinsic repair mechanisms that respond to the damage that disease processes have done. And the marijuana cannabis plant is really unique in that it produces compounds that are almost identical molecularly to the compounds our bodies produce to regulate and optimize our health. So that when we ingest these cannabinoids, even through smoking cannabis or eating edibles that it's been cooked into, or through vaporization, or through taking tinctures, or through juicing, these introduce these compounds which act as supplements to our natural cannabinoids and amplify their protective and healing effects. So this is real. Our opponents want to pretend like there's, nothing to do with it. Marijuana needs to be Schedule I. There's no medical use. But science has spoken, and what science is saying to us is that cannabis is good for us. It reduces our chances for developing a number of diseases. It ameliorates the suffering. It eases the suffering that these diseases causes. The cannabinoids can go in and insert themselves into our biological systems and stop the degenerative processes that are occurring in many diseases, and then trigger our bodies to reverse the damage and produce healthy new brain cells, to produce new cells that aren't impacted by dangerous inflammation, and to replace cells, and to really optimize our health. This is why I have taken up the motto that marijuana use is health positive behavior. Adult marijuana use is health positive behavior, because these compounds are working with us to reduce our chances for developing numerous diseases, to slow down those diseases, and to help us heal from them. Now, at the back here, we have a display of medical abstracts from peer-reviewed journals, and I believe there are 11, and there are packets back there where you can take those and look at them. They're pretty complex. It's in medical language. We might talk about that a little later, and maybe I'll do some interpretation of those. But what you want to do with this information is give it to your doctors. If you know a nurse, give it to a nurse. Give it to medical professionals. Give it to your elected officials. If they are passing bad laws, they may not be sharp enough to understand any of what it says, but hopefully after today, you'll be able to take their hands and walk them through it and educate them, because that's what this is about. This is Canna We Talk. We're talking here, and from here, we're going to go out into our communities, into our families, and we're going to tell the truth of what cannabis does and how it impacts human health in a beneficial way. Now, it is upon us because we are facing the most powerful government on earth, and their propaganda machine and their law enforcement machine, and it's brutal, and it's unrepentant, and it's determined to keep the status quo. But the status quo is untenable because there are people out there who are suffering and are getting diseases, and we could dial that back. We can help them. We can do outreach, and it's not about getting high. You don't have to get high necessarily to benefit from cannabis. My perspective is if you enjoy getting high, it's not a problem. We allow alcohol, we allow caffeine, coffee, all kinds of mind-altering substances, and adult responsible use is not out of the question with cannabis in any way. And in fact, pleasurable social use of cannabis brings some pretty decent health benefits into our lives. So that's one aspect that's fine. If you want to get high and have social use of marijuana, cannabis, great. But on the other hand, we need to let the people who are not interested at all in getting high, let them know how they can benefit from cannabis and do outreach to them and education, because with tinctures, with CBD cannabinoid products, with THCV, these products have minimal mind-altering effects and confer a lot of protective effects on the user. And when the public learns how protective and beneficial these substances are, they're going to come along with us. They're going to want to join us, and they're going to get outraged at laws that inhibit the ability of people to cultivate cannabis the way it should be grown, not like Anne Frank hiding in a closet, but outdoors in the sun, because the sunshine, cannabis is a plant of light, and it takes sunlight and it turns sunlight into healing crystals, which actually supplement our health. You know, do you really want to have salad greens and broccoli and vegetables grown under lamps hydroponically, or would you rather have them grown in an organic garden, good soil, light, and the whole atmosphere, nature and connection? I don't want to denigrate the people who are indoor cultivators, because they are responding to irrational laws and an irrational social situation, and they're brilliant. Some of them are amazing, like alchemists. But really, the most healing, holistic, for the planet, for society, when you grow it outdoors, the impact on the environment is minimal compared to the incredible energy suck it takes, the amount of water for hydroponics. All of this, we really can do it better outdoors. And so I get some of my medicine. I'm a medical user, and it comes from up here. And I want to say I appreciate the people who are the artists who cultivate it, and the humanitarians, and I want them to keep being able to do this. Now, we really do have to educate. We have to educate the medical professionals, because they don't know what we're going to be talking about today. They're sadly ignorant. Medical schools don't teach this data, and it's up to us, ironically enough, to teach them what they need to know. And we also need to reach out to the media. Last night I turned on the TV locally, and the news came up. It was Channel 7. Is Channel 7 here? Okay. Channel 7's motto is, get the facts right. Right? Get the facts right. That's why we're here. We're going to help Channel 7 and the politicians of the area, the so-called officials, and the people and the medical practitioners. We're going to help them get the facts right. So learn this data, begin conversations every chance you can. Start to talk about how cannabis can help someone. It can help people who have pain syndromes. I give remedies, balms that are made from cannabis and sprays. I give them to people who have no interest in getting high, who are very conservative, nice, wonderful, salt-of-the-earth rural people, and they have some resistance because of the brainwashing. But once they find out that this helps their pain, one fellow, I gave him a topical therapeutic mud, and he started using it for his terrible rheumatism and arthritis, and his skin cancer started to come off. He said it's more effective against his skin cancer than the topical chemotherapeutic agent he was using. They peel right off using this cannabinoid mud. So there's a whole range we're going to do the outreach on. Also, talking about local media, I turned on the radio this morning and I flipped through, got to hear a little Rolling Stones, then some terrible hair metal music came on, and I flipped it, and I came upon a talk radio station, 99.3, I think it's basically Tea Party radio. And you know, they're talking about liberty, and they're talking about rights and individual rights, and the government getting into our business too far. And this is a perfect topic to bring up to these people. Call into that station, 99.3. I wanted to, but I was getting ready to come here and I couldn't. And start talking their talk and introduce this idea that growing and using cannabis is a basic human freedom. And they need to stand with us on that. One other thing I've heard them say is that the local sheriff's department has suggested that neighborhoods strengthen their neighborhood watch programs because the sheriff's department is underfunded and understaffed to respond to property crimes locally, and they really need to be the first line of defense against this. Well, if the sheriff's department can't respond to property crimes, what the hell is it going to be doing going after marijuana on private property? Let's get the priorities straight. And let's enforce laws that need to be enforced and not put in laws that are just aggravating people because they're doing something you don't understand and don't approve of. We need to start minding our own business and taking care of our own and letting people exert their American freedoms. And cannabis is a big part of that. So, I guess that, Zoe? How's our time? Okay, good. So, and they say space-time distortion. I don't think so. On the money.
We got you a couple times out. Microphone.
I got a big mouth. So we're going to try and get a Skype in with, actually I have to do a little disclaimer for my spouse, Dr. Donald Abrams, who is Chief of Oncology at San Francisco General and works in the Osher Center for Integrative Healing. And Donald, when I met Donald back in '94, he was fighting the National Institute on Drug Abuse to try and do research on HIV/AIDS patients with inhaled marijuana because there were so many great reports of how people were benefiting from it. And the National Institute on Drug Abuse would not allow him to have the marijuana to do the research, even though it had been approved by the Research Approval Board for the University of California, San Francisco. It had been approved by CRAP, the California Research Advisory Panel, which after he kept talking about them, changed their name to the Research Advisory Panel of California. Agencies had approved the research, but the National Institute of Drug Abuse would not provide marijuana for the study. So that, you know, they don't, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, Donald learned, their congressional mandate is to provide funding and material for research that is intended to do harm, to find harm. They're not really allowed to provide marijuana. He kept fighting. They rejected the first study. They rejected the second study. And then they told him he needed to try and pitch it as a harm assessment study. So he did a Trojan horse, created a study that was intended to show harm but had secondary values that would reveal benefits. So what he found out was that people who used Marinol and marijuana, inhaled marijuana who had HIV, had a significant amount of weight gain compared to people who did not. But interestingly enough, it didn't stop there. The cannabinoid group, HIV group, had better immune function their immune systems improved in their levels of activity compared to the people who did not use cannabis. And we've seen that in some other studies. There was one in, I believe it was baboons with simian AIDS, essentially. And it showed that THC, cannabinoids, block the ability of the HIV virus to actually infect cells. It provides something of a shield and reduces the viral load. So they're trying to get a video up. So Donald kept doing studies, or trying to do studies. He's done a study with inhaled marijuana through a vaporizer, the volcano, and he found that, in fact, you don't get the harmful gases and matter when you use a vaporizer as you do when you smoke, but you do get a really good delivery of cannabinoids into the bloodstream. And with the vaporization, for some reason, it lasts a little bit longer. The level holds a little longer in the bloodstream than with smoking. So he's also done research with pain and opiates and found that using cannabis in conjunction with opiate pain relievers can, it potentiates the effect of the opiate so that you can reduce the amount of opiates taken. And that's always a good thing because we know opiates are far more harmful than cannabis. Now, you got him?